What's up, everyone? It's me, Emma, the heavy metal lawyer. It's December 15th, 2025. You know what that means. It's time for my best hardcore and metal albums of 2025. 2025 was a crazy fucking year. I'm biased because my dad died in January, but also we had Trump's second term, a socialist being elected mayor in New York City, la boo-boos. There's been a whole lot. But when the world goes crazy, musicians have a lot to draw from and riff off of. But y'all aren't here for my theories about the political economy of good underground music. You just want to know what albums came out, so let's get into it. This year, I'm not going to do rankings. Let me know what you think about that, and if you would have liked rankings instead, just let me know. And instead I'm going to do it in order of release date. So starting with January, first release out of the bat is one of the best metal releases. It was so invigorating with its good balancing of drawing from the best elements of classic extreme metal, but also being so forward-looking, being so unafraid to adopt the best technologies that music has to offer today. I'm talking about Swarming Angels and Flies by Sarcator. Sarcator, definitely a contender, in my opinion, for worst band name of all time. Band name made by the portmanteau of Sarcophago and Creator. So right off the bat, you know you're going to be getting some unrelenting worship of classic thrash, classic first wave black metal music. And that is exactly what you're going to get. But Sarcator is so much more than that. They have such a great energy to them that really comes through in their music videos, which I recommend looking up. And they also are really unafraid to jam, which is something you don't find a lot in extreme metal music. And to the contrary, a lot of extreme metal fans are justifiably skeptical of that, associating it more with bands like the Grateful Dead. Sarcator really pulls it off because they're phenomenal musicians who can really just, use those riffs to their advantage, keeping it extreme metal the entire time, but also giving it a lot of melody, a lot of heart. It's extremely polished. That might be a turnoff for some people because it is extremely polished. For me, I'm okay with that, particularly with thrash metal. I want to be able to hear each note of the guitar. Yeah, go check out this album. I really cannot say enough good things about this album, and I can't wait. So I can't wait to see what they come out with next. And next, we have the Euphoric Stench of Unyielding Human Rat by Morgue. Gore DB. It's never gonna get old for me. Sure, it's not as refreshingly original at this point as when I first listened to their opus, Immersed in Mortiferous Enmities, which was dropped in 2022. But what this band may lack in diversity of sound, it makes up for in earnest commitments to its niche sound. It's gotten it down to a complete art form. They're starting to play live shows now, which is really exciting. So yeah, keep up with this band. They're so much fun. Next, we got Gore Furnace by Wormface. This cavernous, dirty, stomping death metal. Not exactly original, especially with the synth interludes that everyone is doing nowadays. I still enjoy them, but I think probably by midway next year, I'm going to be getting kind of sick of them. But this is like the great opening band that gets you really pumped up for the headliner. And, you know, they have all the potential to maybe come out with a release next year or the year after that that's really gonna blow me away. Next up, my first major mispronunciation of this video, I'm sure. Den typ som överlever.
Den typ som överlever.
By Proteststorm. This is just straight up raw, hard D-beat in a way that I have not really heard a band do well since the high point of Dysphere, R.I.P. It's snarling, it's fast, 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 fast. It's everything you want in D-beat. Anyway, so going into February, we start off with Barndommens, hjem by NyreDolk.
Barndommens hjem by NyreDolk.
This is blackened punk, and but it takes on a more grand and foreboding atmosphere, especially compared to their earlier releases. You know, usually blackened punk sounds like punk dirtbags who got into Satanism, and this sounds more like punk dirtbags who got lost in a vampire's castle and get taken out by the vampires one by one. It's great. Give it a listen. Next up, we have Tavastland by Havukruunu. I already made a video about this year because I did, and I think that was just when the single had come out too. And the whole album really lived up to the titular single, although that is still my favorite song on the album. This is Nordic, epic, pagan black metal that is has this really interesting historical message about the resistance of the Finnish people against various attempts to colonize them over the years by the Swedish and others. And it just has this perfect, especially for right now because it's really fucking cold, this perfect winter atmosphere. It's, in my opinion, Havukruunu's best album ever, which is saying something because they are a phenomenal band. They have made no missteps so far and keep getting better and better. This was on heavy rotation for me. If you haven't listened to it yet, what are you doing? Turn this video off and go listen to it. All right, next up, another great winter album that came out this year and was released the same day actually as Tavastland, and that's Nightside by atmospheric Russian black metal group Grima. And Grima, love them some accordion, which if you had told me before listening to Grima, hey, accordion is like one of the best instruments for black metal, I'd be like, shut the fuck up. That's so gimmicky. That's so stupid. No, it is. There's another Russian black metal band. I believe their name is Path. That's the English translation. I don't remember what it is in Russian. They also have accordion and black metal, and they're pretty good as well. But Grima is really at the top of their game. They've really been able to capitalize on their aesthetic with the wooden owl mask and the forest themes in a way that is obviously extremely campy, but at the same time is not boring, is not just corny. It's a lot of fun, and the music videos are really cool, and yeah, and the guitar on this album is exceptional. Just with a lot of atmospheric black metal, what loses me is that the guitar is sometimes really boring. And the exceptions to that have been groups like Wolves in the Throne Room. And Grima is at that same level. They are the wolves in the throne room of Russian black metal with accordions. So if you're into that kind of stuff, check them out. And the third album that came out this day, February 28th, that is also on this list is What Lies Ahead by Frightful. This year, for some reason, we saw a resurgence in like early 2000s style metalcore, which has been mostly bad. I've needed to tell a lot of these Gen Z kids, don't do that. That was a mistake by my generation. We are still trying to make up for it. Most of those songs are garbage. You know, for every, Memphis Will Be Laid to Waste by Norma Jean, there were hundreds that were freaking terrible. But What Lies Ahead by Frightful is death metal that incorporates some of those early 2000s style metalcore influenced riffs. Think early Aborted, but more raw and lyrically more like death at their most philosophical. It's a cool album. You should check it out. Next up, redneck, hardcore, upstarts, Ingrown with their second album, Idaho. Leading us off for the month of March. And while this album lacks the bangers that their debut had, it's grown on me a lot after listening to it over and over, after that sort of initial disappointment of not getting a song to just repeat over and over again. And listen, it's grindcore influenced hardcore. That's like my thing. Next up, Corpus Offal by Corpus Offal. This is death doom in a way that makes it interesting again, because it's almost the way that I keep describing it to people, and someone needs to tell me if this is stupid because I've used it so much, so if it's stupid, I'm sounding really fucking stupid. But it's like a stoner metal approach to death doom. And I don't mean that it sounds like stoner metal, but it has that same objective that stoner metal has of trying to establish grooves, trying to almost put the listeners into a trance with these riffs. They capture it so well with the album artwork and with their music videos of just this sort of abstracted, gore, meaty menagerie. It's that sort of gory death metal imagery and aesthetics that's been sort of pulled apart and put back together again in this sort of non-Euclidean angular vision, nightmarish. This is easily one of best death metal albums that came out not just this year, but in like the last 25 years. It's an awesome project. I really recommend checking it out. This is fucking... Next, closing out the month of March, we have Black Iron Prison by Black Iron Prison. With the most borderline shouldn't be on this list entry because it's too avant-garde, but I put it on here. This is the stripped down beauty and rawness of a two-person group. I'm not even sure if it's two people. It might actually just be one person doing two things. But it's really just beats and screaming with lots of effects on the screaming. And that could have easily turned out terribly. But in this case, it turns out awesomely. It's really haunting. You can really get lost in it despite how relatively thin and not built out it is compared to most extreme music that has many more layers, many more instruments. It's well worth a listen. Give it a try. Just give it a try. Next up, we have Adapting / Crawling by Iron Lung. The titans of modern power violence, record purveyors, as well as great band in their own right, with fantastic classic albums like The White Glove Test. They are back. They've got this amazing album that has, in my opinion, their best album craft in it. The songs really flow together much better than it has in prior releases. It's a lot of fun, and you should, if you like Iron Lung, you're gonna love this album. If you like power violence, you're gonna love this album. For April, we've got Poisoned in the Pit by P.I.L.A.U. I'm not sure if they say P.I.L.A.U or if it's just P.I.L.A.U. This is crossover thrash, and look at this amazing album cover. Isn't this like, I love this album cover. I love the colors. I love just the rage depicted on it. This is Hawaiian filth-covered rockers emerging from the lava pits to burn down everything with red hot guitar riffs and enraged vocals. The mixing was a bit overcompressed for me. I like dynamics, and I wish that people would give me the dynamics that I want. But it's a great release overall. Really looking forward to see what this band does in the future. Also in April, we had the film by Sumac and More Mother.
Struggles written in the earth, silical birth, basic instructions.
I've talked about this one before, so I won't drone on too much, but this was just, I mean, such a meeting of really amazing musicians coming together for More Mother's experimental proclivities and amazing lyrics, combined with Sumac's huge sludgy sound, and it works so well. It's a great combination. Starting off the month of May, we have Metal Death by Interceptor. Taking a time machine back to that first wave of black metal. Put on your spiked gauntlets, take off your shirt, let me see those pecs and washboard abs, you Conan the Barbarian looking fuck. But in all seriousness, this is great this your hot rod black metal music. This is just really fun, really campy. Again, this is another one where the mixing was like, I think it might just be for the digital releases, because I got the CD, and the CD, I play it in my car all the time. It's awesome on the CD. So, you know, you gotta buy the CD. Next up for May, we have Hacked Apart by Hacked Apart. Squamish-based, crusty gore grind with some nice guitar fills and really tight drumming. These fellas have been grinding in the underground for a couple of years, and their debut full-length claims their place as one of the bands for us to all keep an eye on. Next up, still in the month of May, we've got Human Zoo by Stress Positions. This Chicago-based hardcore band with very political lyrics tackles the issue of the genocide in Gaza, as well as giving us just the ferocity on this release. Almost, you know, makes me look back at their prior album, which I loved so much, and be like, wow, what were they holding back, or did they just like really bring it up that much again? Great band to see live. I highly recommend. Really energetic live shows. 1 week after that, we had Abhorrent Worship by Ossuary. This is groovy death doom coming out of these Wisconsin-based doom death rockers. Great album. I talked about it before, so I won't go too much into it, but if you like death doom, it is a must listen. And on that same day, we had Jhyappa, probably didn't pronounce that correctly, by Chepang. Chepang may not have topped their all-time best album, Chatta, with this release, but this album might have my favorite song they've ever done, which is Nirnaya, which fits into this extremely small niche of grindcore songs that are also kind of party anthems. And I'll just leave you with that. You just go check it out. There's a music video for that song too that's a lot of fun. And starting off the month of June, we have Yanantin by Ukhu Pacha. This is melodic, indigenous black metal centered around amazing guitar riffs. I do wish the vocals had a bit more diversity. The blown out effects laden growls are great, but I think they would sound even better if contrasted with something else. Really hope this band continues and shows me what else they can deliver. Next up, we got No Cure for the Sick by Lipoma. This was a great year for just grindcore and gore grind bands really stretching out, trying to figure out ways to make their sound more original. Lipoma has been in the gore grind scene for a bit now. They've put out some really great releases, but this one really it's a wild ride of maritime themes with lots of synths. Still definitely got that gore grind sound to it, particularly with the vocals and with the drumming. It's hard to describe. You really gotta listen to it for yourself. Starting off July, we have the first of 2 Sulfuricatory releases on this list because they fucking killed it this year. So no surprise that this first track is Killing Spree. This is an extension of their hyper gore sound, which is sort of the gore grind model of music with the, gurgly vocals, with the grindcore tin pan type drumming, but sort of turned up even harder, even faster, to the point that it's borderline just noise. It's like it's one step away from just being outright noise. And it's being on that precipice, just feeling like you're about to just fall over into pure chaos and noise that makes me love Sulfuricatory's music so much. And I mean, the drumming in this band is freaking insane. It's the best drumming, in my opinion, in extreme metal music right now. It's crazy. Next up, we have Not Worthy of Human Compassion by Scalp. This is similar to Ingrown, another hardcore band with grindcore influences. And Scalp's really interesting because the sort of theme of this album was like basically having a bad trip. I don't know if I would call it psychedelic as much as dissociative in that sort of way, but they did a good job of capturing that theme in the sound of the music as well as in the lyrics and the samples that they use in the album. It's a great listen, and I know I haven't gotten a chance to see them yet, but I hear they put on a good show, so I gotta do that. And starting off August, we have Black Braid 3, the third release by indigenous black metal solo artist Black Braid. It's Black Braid. This guy is a master of the epic American black metal sound, and interweaving it with the native flute in the way that he does creates this wonderful atmospheric interludes. I do jokingly say to people that there are two Black Braid songs. There are the Black Braid songs, which have the fast part and the slow part, and the fast part and the slow part. And then there are the ones that have the slow part and the fast part and the slow part and the fast part. That's a joke. They are a little more complicated than that. That being said, I think this is, you know, I'm really hoping that this is a trilogy in terms of at least this kind of sound for the project. I could see him moving on to a different sound with this project that could be interesting. But at this point, I think, you know, he's made his mark with this sound, and I would like to hear something different from him. I'm sure he has a lot to offer. He's a very creative guy, so fingers crossed that we see what's next from this amazing musician. After that, we've got Coronation of the Grotesque by brutal death metal Castrator. Not too much to say about this release. It's just a solid, brutal death metal. Solvent by Noisy Neighbors. Also dropped in August from my raw D-beat grindcore friends out in Texas. Following up their other great album, Derailing the Hype Train. They definitely have a tighter sound on this album, which, you know, it's great to see them honing their craft in that sort of way. And I'm really excited to keep following these guys and seeing what they put out, because, you know, I'll never tire of the crusty grindcore sound. It is nom 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 nom. After that, we have Power Violence, Scottish legends Endless Swarm put out their album The Body Hammer. I've already talked about how fucking cool this album cover is. Probably my favorite album cover of the year, and this has been a year with a lot of really cool album covers, actually. But this one really takes the cake for me. As I said in my previous video, this is power violence with oaf vocals in the best possible way. Love these guys, love this album. Next one, I was back and forth on whether to include this one, but fuck it. Starting off September, we have No One Was Driving the Car by La Dispute. Emo, but really good songwriting. Really, you know, I don't need to give you guys the whole fucking rant about hardcore and emos, you know, starting off as basically the same genre, and how bands like Dispute keep that merger alive, keep both of those sounds in both hands. You've heard it before. If you respect it, you respect it. If you don't respect it, you don't respect it. People have made up their minds on this. If this ain't for you, it ain't for you, and I don't want to fucking hear you in the comments. Fuck you. Next up, we got The Bestiary by Castle Rat. I always liked Castle Rat's vocals, but I just felt like the instrumentation just wasn't up to par, and kind of lent credence to some of the haters out there who said they were just theater kids pretending to be a stoner metal band. Well, haters, they have stepped their freaking game up. This is an amazing trip through stoner metal fantasy. Fantastic album. It's everything you could want, with wizards and magic and fighting dragons and all that kind of ish. If that's your kind of sound, check it out. And starting off October, first we have Wind by Dridge. I talked about this in a previous video, but Dridge is such an interesting band because they're just getting slower and heavier with every release, which is kind of like a meme in the, sludge metal, stoner metal, death doom type world, but these guys are actually doing it, with Wind by Dridge being borderline drone metal. I think it's still death doom, but it's borderline getting into the drone metal territory, and it sounds awesome. It sounds like being on the top of a mountain and looking over and just seeing that you're thousands of feet in the air, and just a little push or a strong enough wind is going to make you plummet down and down to your death. That same day, we had Ritual Routine by Planet on a Chain. Planet on a Chain is back. And while the word I would use for the last album would be outraged, the one to describe this album is pissed. The righteous condemnations are gone. Planet on a Chain just wants to tell people off, like on the track Breakthrough, about how bands abandon their principles to try to make it. With the closing lyrics, your mindset is everything that's wrong. Nothing will ever make you belong. Next up, we have Prepare for the Worst by Deterioration. These are the titans of Midwest crusty grindcore. Their mixing has kind of always bothered me. It's just mixed really low, and again, you can't pick out the dynamics well, but they've got this style mastered, particularly in terms of songwriting. They have a great ability to not have their songs just blend together in the way that less talented grindcore bands do. They really stand out and keep you engaged throughout the entire album. If mixing is something about them that turns you off, you just gotta go see them live. You just gotta fork up that cash and go see them live. And closing off this list is the album for December. I didn't have any for November. Sorry, November heads. The album for December, Consummate Extirpation by Sulphuric Cautery. Sulphuric Cautery was like, well, we released the best hyper gore grind album of the year. Let's also release the best, more classic death grind rooted, gurgly, extremely gore, just bathing in gore album. And they did it. I wouldn't think they would be able to be masters at two sounds in the same year, but these guys are really talented. This is just really awesome stuff. This one just came out. I've been listening to it a lot, but a lot of it's still percolating for me. But if you are into gore grind, I mean, this was a great year for the sub genre, the niche micro genre, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And yeah, Sulfuric Cautery, the best. And that's it for me for 2025. I'll probably make a video at the beginning of January about my listening for the year, checking out my last FM. If you like this video, please like, share, all that kind of stuff. And I'll see you in 2026. Let's make a New Year's resolution to support our scenes, to buy physical media, buy them CDs, buy them cassettes, buy them vinyl. Fuck Spotify, fuck all streaming apps. Support the bands, support the music, support unionized labor. See ya.